everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends 6-inch X-Men series Deadpool figure from Hasbro. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've been seeing with all the Marvel Legends figures for this year. Now all the figures in this X-Men wave have the black box with yellow highlights. However, Deadpool does have a few minor differences that we don't see on the other X-Men figures. So first of all, we've got the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure logo up at the top, and that's on all the figures in this wave. But then we also have Deadpool's symbol on the top of the packaging. All the other figures in this wave have an X. You've got the Legends series logo, that's the same. The figure's clearly displayed. Then you've got the X-Men name and the name of the character. Off to the side, you've got artwork for the character. And then on the back of the packaging, we have a look at the actual figure. We have a brief bio in multiple languages. But then we have this little comic art with Deadpool in a waiter suit, and he says, "I date me," in multiple languages, and he's holding a taco. And then we have a look at all the figures in the wave that you need to get in order to complete the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure. And you'll notice next to Deadpool, he's got some hearts with a little arrow pointing towards him. Again, this is only seen on this particular figure. The hearts aren't on any of the other figures in the wave. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now this is the only figure in the X-Men wave that doesn't come with a Juggernaut Build-A-Figure piece, but he does come with a ton of weapon accessories, and he has one alternate head. Okay, so first of all, we get a taco. We know Deadpool is known for eating tacos, and this actually has somewhat decent paint applications on it. On the top, we've got some brown colors for the meat, and then you've got some green for the, I guess, lettuce, and some yellow for the shell, and maybe some cheese. The shell itself is just a yellow color, or a beigeish yellow color, and this is a very small piece. And like I said, this is just kind of a silly accessory that they've given it that you can have him hold in his hand if you want. We get a bazooka with a boxing glove. Now this is the same bazooka that I showed you with that Punisher figure, the Walgreens exclusive Punisher figure, only you get the additional boxing glove. And the boxing glove you can actually remove. It just connects with a little peg, so you could put this glove on the Punisher's bazooka if you wanted to. But the bazooka itself is just green, so it doesn't have as much paint detail as the Punisher one. This one's all just green. The scope and everything, the back and everything is just green, whereas the Punisher one had a little more paint applications to it. You get the rifle, and the sculpting's okay on it, but there's no paint applications. It's just a grayish plastic. Really, none of the weapons have much in the way of paint applications. So here's the shotgun. Again, we saw this with the Punisher figure, only it was all white with the Punisher. So this one, we get a gray plastic one. You get two pistols. Again, no real paint applications on it. They're just gray plastic, but the sculpting detail on them are pretty nice. You get a knife with just, again, gray plastic for the blade, and then the back part is black, and you do have some sculpting on the handle to give it that kind of wrap look to it, and you've got some grooves in the blade itself. So again, overall nice sculpting detail with this weapon. Two pistols, again, no real paint applications on it. They're just gray plastic, but the sculpting detail on them are pretty nice. You get a knife with just, again, gray plastic for the blade, and then the back part is black, and you do have some sculpting on the handle to give it that kind of wrap look to it, and you've got some grooves in the blade itself. So again, overall nice sculpting detail with this weapon. And then finally you get two of the Katana Swords, and this is again just gray plastic, but you do have some paint on the handle. It's black handle within these little red dots down the handle on both sides, and you've got some sculpting. It's kind of grooved on the handles, and both swords are exactly the same. Except for the rifle and the shotgun, you can basically store all of his weapons on the figure, so I do like that. So the swords you can put on these sheaths that are on the back, and they just slide in. Now this thing, the sheaths themselves aren't removable, but this harness that holds the sheaths you can take off the figure. You can slide it down the arms if you want, so that is removable. The other belts on the figure aren't really meant to be removed. Now you get two gun holsters for the pistols, so you can put one here on his waist, and it does kind of stick out the end here, but you can maybe not push it down so much if you don't want it sticking out like that. And then he's got a gun holster on his leg here, so you can put the other pistol. And those both fit nice and tight. Then he's got a little knife sheath down here on his ankle, so you can put the knife in there. And then the bazooka, like with the Punisher figure, the bazooka's got the little peg and then he's got the hole on the back, and so you can stick the bazooka on there so it looks like he's carrying the bazooka on his back if you want to. So the final accessory this figure comes with is 2 alternate heads. So you get the masked head that's attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. And I think Hasbro's done a pretty good job with the sculpting on this, with the detail. You've got the little line work here on the sides of the mask. You can see the ears kind of sticking out, and the eye, one eye is open wider than the other. He's kind of got that Deadpool expression. You can see some wrinkles sculpted over the eyes. So I think that all looks good. He's got the little extra bit of mask that sticks out at the back. So again, I think they've done a nice job with this masked head. Now to switch out the head, you just pop it off like you do with all the figures. It's attached with the ball hinge joint, and then you just pop on the alternate head. And the alternate head is the unmasked head. And I think Hasbro's done a pretty good job with this unmasked head, definitely capturing the look of that scarred face, burnt face that Deadpool has. As Weasel was quoted as saying, he looks like an avocado that had sex with an older avocado. You've got the yellow eyes and a big grin with white teeth, and he's got a pretty big nose, and I like how they've sculpted all the little divots with the skin torn out and everything, and you can see his ears. So just again, really nice detailing, and you've also got a little bit of wash work on this head, so it's kind of a reddish tint to it, but then you can see some lighter splotches and some darker splotches mixed throughout the head. So definitely, again, I think they've done a nice job of capturing that unmasked look for Deadpool. For the rest of the figure, we're primarily looking at the Bucky cap mold, the torso section, the upper arms, the legs are all from the Bucky cap mold. Now the lower part here, the boots essentially of the figure are different from Bucky cap, and you've got these shin guards and these belts on the boots, and I like the detailing with the shin guards and everything. And then the lower arms, I believe, are unique as well with these wrist guards. Now the hands might be reused. I haven't placed them, but this right hand with the pinky sticking out looks kind of familiar to me, so those might be reused from a different figure. And then the belts have really no paint application, so unlike the Punisher figure, which had some nice wash work on it to give it that leather look, these are very just kind of reddish brown color. And then the overall paint on the figure itself is very basic. There's not really much in the way of wash work on the actual figure, just a red and then the black colors. Now the black on these pads on his wrist are a little bit shinier than the rest of the figure, and then you've got like silver highlights here on his chest. He's got silver on the masked eyes, and he's got silver on the belt buckles. He's also got these green grenades on the side of his belt, and then the sword sheaths are just a black plastic. The figure stands at 6.5 inches tall. So here's a comparison with the Toy Biz Deadpool and the Toy Biz Cable. Now I don't have any other Hasbro Deadpool figures. This is actually the first Deadpool figure I've purchased since the Toy Biz one. So, but you can see this Hasbro one is taller than the Toy Biz one. And then here's a comparison with some other Hasbro figures. So here's the new Punisher figure, and this one's maybe a hair taller than Deadpool, and then Pizza Eating Spider-Man, which is a bit shorter, Daredevil, and Wolverine, which is definitely shorter. Articulation is pretty good with the figure, and if you're used to the Bucky cap mold, then you know what to expect from it. You can turn the head to the left and to the right, and he's got good down movement with the head, and he can look back really good. Arms you can get out good. Got that clicky motion when you rotate the arm, good rotation there. He's got the bicep swivel. He's got the double hinged elbow, so good bending there. He's got swivels at the wrist, hinges on the hands, so good up and down movement with the hands. He's got an ab crunch type joint, so he can crunch down and he can look back. Now the swords do kind of, the sheaths do kind of limit his back movement a little bit. He's got a waist swivel. Legs are tapped with ball joints, so he can only do the splits about that much, and then he can get his leg forward good, and he can do his leg back about that much. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a double jointed knee, so good bending at the knee. He's got the boot cuff swivel. He's got the hinges on the feet, so good up and down movement with the feet, and then he does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like this figure. I think it's a nice update to the character. I like all the weapons that it comes with, and I like the fact that you can store most of the weapons on the actual figure. Now, I would have liked to maybe seen a little more in the way of paint detail on the weapons and maybe the gun belts as well. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty nice looking figure, and it doesn't really bother me that it uses the Bucky cap mold. I think it works well with this figure. Now, this figure, along with the rest of this wave, is starting to see a limited release through certain e-tailers like Big Bad Toy Store. We will see more of these be released in August, so if you haven't gotten yours yet, don't worry, you'll be seeing more of these in August. and you can still pre-order these at Big Bad Toy Store, and I'll put a link in the video description below. Also, we'll have a full image gallery for this figure up at marvelousnews.com, and as always, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook and or Twitter pages. I'll also have links to those in the video description below, and until next time, I'll catch you later.